Thank you for tuning in to the Helium Radio Network. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Sarah from Sessions with Sarah on Helium Radio Network. I'm here with Colin Egglesfield from the Agile Artist. And some of you guys may recognize him from TV, right? And something borrowed. If I don't mention that, all the girls are going to be really sad.
Yeah, or the transplanted, unaborted fetus of Erica Kane from All My Children.
Oh, yes.
If you can figure that one out.
Everybody around our age probably remembers you from that, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Let's talk about your book, though, The Agile Artist. I don't even know how I found it. I found it about a year ago, and it tells your journey about like acting and how you were acting actually on All My Children, and then you were diagnosed with cancer, but people didn't know. And I thought that was so crazy. And it was like, what was it, 9/11, that kind of all around that time with like craziness. I always wondered if cancer was like caused by 9/11 and everything in the air, because so many firefighters got it too. Did you ever wonder that?
You know, I did, but so the type of cancer I had was testicular cancer. Mm-hmm. And with testicular cancer, when I asked my doctor, like, well, how did I get this? Where, is there any, cause for this, or, was there something that I did? And he told me that there really is no culprits. They haven't really pinned down a rhyme or reason why testicular cancer happens, other than there is a higher percentage of firefighters who have testicular cancer. And the theory is that if there's too much heat, excessive heat, where like firefighters have to wear their uniforms, and like Lance Armstrong had testicular cancer, where constantly on the bike, sweating, hot. They think that is one of the culprits for it. And as an athlete myself, I do a lot of biking, running, working out. So that might have been the reason for it. But to this day, they really don't have a definitive answer.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it was a very, very scary time in my life, very eye-opening experience in my life. And that's one of the chapters that I write about, in my book. And what I talk about in Agile Artist is that as an actor, there's a lot of very practical, incredible insight that I learned from my acting that I've been able to apply to my daily life. And that's what I share in the book, so that anyone who is dealing with not only health issues, but issues with regards to stress and how to perform under pressure, because we as actors have to be able to deliver under pressure, walking into a room of 40 Warner Brothers network executives and winning that role, beating out, 400 guys that I beat out for something borrowed. And then knowing that, the producers, directors, network executives have to know that you can handle the pressure when they know that millions of dollars are on the line on your shoulders, and they know that they need to know that you can handle it. And so growing up, I was more of an introvert. And so getting up even in front of my classmates at school was a very nerve-wracking experience, because, it's like growing up, you're insecure, kids can be cruel and they say things. And I was very awkward in my teenage years. I was very skinny, had braces, headgear, all that stuff. My voice didn't change literally till I was like in my 20s. And I've always looked naturally younger than my age. So when I was like 20, it looked like I was 12 years old. And so growing up, I always just kind of felt like I just wasn't as advanced or mature as some of the other kids in my class. So I always just kind of felt awkward and dorky. And so I just kind of kept to myself. And as I got older, I was actually planning on going to medical school myself. And I was on that track in my senior year of college. I heard on the radio about this model talent search where you could travel the world. And, I just on a whim went to this model search thing. And before you knew it, I was in Milan, Italy, doing runway shows for Giorgio Armani and Versace.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
That led to me moving to New York City and finding myself in an acting theater, and I just fell in love with acting and got the acting bug.
Yeah. That's really cool though. What a journey, like from
Yeah.
medical school to do. See, you did what I wanted to do and I did what you wanted to do.
There you go.
That is cool. But like, yeah, I mean, I wish my life had worked out that way, but I got stuck in pharmacy school instead.
Do you ever regret it?
To a point, I think it would never have led to where I am now doing all these shows. So that was definitely important because it was really funny. A lot of people know I made this app. It was called the Sac App, Sexual Activity Calendar.
Oh, wow. Tell me about it. You tell.
And it was a little risque at the time. And but no, it was like a health tracker. It's basically what the Apple Heart one is now. And but it didn't take off. But it led to my show in Boston on TV, which was first in the Sac with Dr. Sarah. And then we were getting a lot of country music artists on. So I ended up having to change it to one-on-one with Dr. Sarah. And so I've been up until the pandemic, I'm in and out of Nashville interviewing all the country music scene. So yeah, it's been a cool journey. And then
what's the premise of the app and the show? Like, as far as
the app is no longer
sexual activity, what was the whole point of it?
The show was to come on. It was basically what this is now. I talk to people in the medical world, relationship, sex, like, people who worked for Playboy at the time. This was a couple years back. Yeah. They would all come on the show. Sometimes it would be virtual, kind of like this. It was like seeing into the future of what this is now. And then, sometimes they would come into Boston because we used to tape live at the Greatest Bar.
Yeah. But what was like the whole idea of the concept of like it started with the app, right? Keeping track of your sexual activity. Yeah. And is it to improve your sexual activity, to make it better? Like what was the whole concept behind it?
The concept was I was getting a lot of younger girls coming in with STDs, and that was like a huge thing. So nobody could figure out where they got it or if they had become pregnant. I was like, well, we made it fun. And I actually worked with some people like to update it from Playboy, and we kind of made it like a fun game. Okay. Yeah. It just didn't catch on. As some people always say, I'm ahead of my time with ideas. So
yeah. And so with your show is like with all these country music stars, do you talk about like their sexual lives and history and all that stuff? No.
No, we talk about their music. I think their publicists would kill me if I did. Okay. Although I think like with people, like it's just so natural talking to everybody that sometimes we do get into some funny things. Like I got to know them really well, like Chris Lane, Michael Ray, like we're all good friends. So like the more time went on, it was easier to interview. It was just like chatting with a friend, you know what I mean? Cool. So yeah. And then I had to rebrand again, and here we are with the podcast. And then I got picked up by this network. So
all right. Nice.
It keeps leading to somewhere, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, you're doing something right.
I guess. For now. But speaking of that, you're teaching masterclasses on acting, and you have people coming on doing that and learning. So what do they learn when they come to one of your seminars?
So I do a couple of different seminars. As you mentioned, I do teach an acting class. It's a masterclass. It's actually an introduction to acting, and it's a masterclass with regards to the craft and art of acting, and also the business side of acting. Because what was the hard lesson for me was once I started learning how to become a professional actor, the component that was left out was that, okay, now that you are armed with all these tools on how to actually work and get the job, what do you do to maintain and sustain your career? How to work with agents, how to get the agent, how to work with managers and lawyers. And once you start making money, what do you do with the money? How to invest it? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have as an actor? Because with acting, there's a lot of unpredictability with when you are going to get your next job. So you've got, we make decent money when we are working, but then we may not work for a year. Right. So it's all about how to create that plan for you to be able to maintain a successful acting career, both from the artistry standpoint, but then also looking at yourself as the CEO of your own company, in a sense, where you create a business plan. So with my acting class, I start out with teaching and introducing people to what it's like to be a professional actor, what it takes, what some success principles are, not only as an actor, but in life. And then I start to talk about what it is to be the owner of your own business. Because in addition to acting, I also do real estate. So I've got a few different holding companies. And then I also have, I teach these different courses. One of them is called Inspire, which is a 6-week goal setting course where people go through there and I help share with them all the insights and tools that I learned from my acting teachers and life coaches that helped me get out of my own way. Because as I mentioned earlier, I was super nervous getting up in front of people to like talk and to deliver, a speech. So when I was on stage in my acting classes, it felt great and fun and freeing because I had the words in front of me. And in the acting class, it's a safe environment for you to open up and be vulnerable. And I was like, this is amazing. And I get to like, get mad and cry and laugh and have all these amazing, experiences of what it means to be a human being. Right. But then when I would go to my auditions and I would walk into the room, it felt like my body would start to shut down, where I would start to get tightness in my chest and I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, what is going on? Why am I so sweaty? And I started to realize like our bodies go into this fight or flight response. And so I was like, how can I, why is my body shutting me down from something that is my dream? Like my dream is to become a professional actor. Why is my body sabotaging itself? I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. Like we're trying to do something great here. And what I started to realize was that our subconscious beliefs of who we are and how people perceive us can get in the way of us pursuing what we want to do in our lives. So I started to do some research on how to tap into our subconscious belief systems. And a lot of it has to do with visualization exercises and just unpacking our childhood a little bit and creating a new meaning around the events in our life that hold us back.
So what would it be like in your childhood that you would have to kind of like, for lack of a better word, repress that would make you so nervous? Is it something that someone said along the way, or? It's
truly an amalgamation of different events. So it's everything from our parents, us wanting to please our parents so that they make sure that we make sure that they love us, because our brains are designed, I'm sure you know this, for one purpose only, and that is to survive. Our brains were designed to make sure that our genes and our DNA get passed on to the next generation. Right. Our brains really don't care how happy we are or how fulfilled we are. Our brains are just designed to do what they need to do in order for us to survive. So to our 5 and 6 and 7-year-old brains, if parents get mad at you, to our little brains, that can mean, oh God, they don't like us anymore. They're going to kick us out, and we're going to have to fend for ourselves. And in a sense, when we are excommunicated from the tribe and we are alone, to our brains, that equals death.
Okay.
So our brains will do whatever they need to do to make sure that we fit in, that we stay safe, that we stay in our little comfort zone. So we end up molding ourselves and melding ourselves into whatever situation that makes us feel safe, that makes us feel like we're going to be a part of the group. And that's the hard part that we have to overcome, because when we, like I said, when we are wanting to go out and pursue the things that we truly want to, a lot of the times involves getting out of your comfort zone.
The self-doubt and all that.
Again, to our brains, that means that you're putting yourself out there in danger and potentially putting yourself in a situation where you may die. So a lot of it has to do with looking back.
I may die if I don't get through this audition.
Exactly. And our brains are essentially supercomputers. They are meaning-making machines. Our brains will just create meaning around any situation that we experience, whether that meaning is true or false. And so a lot of it has to do with going back and looking at the different events in our life that happened when we were kids and starting to unpack it and really understanding the meaning that we've placed to things. So like, to give you an example, when I was younger, I came home with A's and B's on my report card.
Okay.
And my dad was not happy that they weren't all A's. And so he's like, "You're at Egglesfield. We get all A's in this household." And he was
that's what you remember.
And that's what he said. And that's from his perspective is he wanted his son to get all A's so that I was going to be successful in life.
Right.
But to my 11-year-old brain, my interpretation of that was, I have to get A's or my dad won't accept me or love me. So
True.
In my dad's eyes, I need to be perfect. And so then I need to like make sure that I do everything perfect and I do the best so that my dad shows me attention and shows me love and shows me that he accepts me. Because to my little 11-year-old brain, if I don't do that, then dad won't love me. He won't accept me. And then that, to my little 11-year-old brain, that means that I'm going to be separated and out on my own by myself in the woods, and a saber-toothed tiger is going to eat
in the
me.
woods with a
From a primal
that's
perspective.
An imagination. No wonder you're an actor.
That is what our primitive brains think. Our primitive brains think like that.
Right.
So when you can understand it from that perspective, my brain in that moment created the meaning of, I need to be perfect in order for my dad to love me. And when you look back and you ask yourself, is that true? And you can look back at any moment in your past. And if you just look back, what is the meaning that I associated with that experience? Like if your parents got divorced, what meaning did you make that mean? Well, marriages don't work, or I'm not lovable, or if, whatever experience that we have in our life, we make a decision about ourselves. And so a lot of the times that decision is a very limiting belief. And if we go back and look at what that limiting belief is and really shine a light on it, 99.9% of the time, it's an untruth.
Yeah.
When you can start to unpack that, then you can start to realize, well, I guess I don't have to be perfect for my dad to love me. And if that's the case, then I can just be who I am. And I don't have to be perfect in order to be successful. And as soon as I started to dig deeper into this kind of subconscious mindset stuff, the more I started to realize that, you know what? I don't have to be perfect. It's okay to suck. It's okay to fail. And with acting, you've got to be able to be okay with failing, because over my 20-year career, I've gone on over 2,000 auditions, and I've only booked 40 something roles in my career. That's a 2% success rate. So 98% of the time I hear no, or I hear, or I get rejected, however you want to look at it. But it's that 2% that truly makes the difference in our lives. And that 2% has allowed me to work with Kate Hudson, Sylvester Stallone, do movies in Thailand and South Africa, live in Tokyo. And a lot of the times we are so afraid of hearing no or fearing rejection that we stay small, we stay in our comfort zones, and it prevents us from pursuing our dreams and our passions. So in my 6-week goal setting course, it's called Inspire, I help unpack some of these limiting beliefs. And so by the end of this 6-week course, people are like, oh my God, what have I been through? I want to write my own book and I want to do my own podcast. And yes, I want to be an actor, or whatever it is that we all have this like inner calling of what we want to be doing.
Yes.
And a lot of times we feel like we should be going and doing something that we should do because that's what society tells us that we should be doing, or our parents told us that we should be doing. But
I know that well.
always will come out and it will nudge you. And you can lie to people in the world, but you can't lie to yourself. And eventually the truth will come up to the point where, you just like, you know what? I got to own my truth. And this is what I truly want to do in life. And in this community of inspired people that go through the course, we create a very supportive, inspiring environment for you to go out and do the thing that you've always wanted to do, but were afraid to try it.
So it's like you remove the block of like what, like getting them out there to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like people that always say to me too, they're like, how do you do both? I go, because one's my passion and one pays the bills. My passion's fun, but I still have to pay those bills. So
yeah.
And it's been crazy, like with the COVID vaccines and everything. Did you get yours yet?
Not yet. You?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Back in January. If you were here, you would get yours.
Wow.
You would probably qualify.
Yeah. So. Well, I believe by May 1st, it's going to be available to everyone. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great news though. Yeah. Because then as he said, we can go back to July 4th, which is like a big holiday here for our family. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, but also you're going to do something in May. You have a big course coming up too.
Yeah, we have our first summit. It's called the Inspire Summit. And this is it's going to be virtual. It's on May 23rd. We're going to have motivational speakers. We're going to have music. We're going to have some yoga and meditation. We are going to have a master chef teach us how to make a dessert. And we are going to have basically it's just going to be a day of inspiration, motivation, and community. So May 23rd from 12 to 3 Central Standard Time. That's 1 to 4 Eastern Time.
Yeah, so I always mess that up.
Yeah, that's our precursor to our live Inspire events that we're going to be doing once we're able to all get together. And then also I do, so I start my acting class. I essentially run my acting class pretty much every month. It's every Saturday. And then I've got my Inspire course that's going to be starting again in a month. So got a lot of really
You're
great
busy.
stuff. Yeah. And then I'm producing this TV show that we are now pitching to networks. So one of the reasons why I currently live in Chicago, one of the reasons why I left Hollywood was because I got to a place in my career where I was tired of going into the room and auditioning for projects and waiting for people to pick me for their projects.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, you know what? I've gotten to the top. I know what it's like. I've been there. Now I want to produce my own stuff and create the things that I want to be working in.
That's a smart idea. And if you need an actress, I can become one. I'll just
all right. Hey, I'll let you know.
I'll play anything, whatever, lesbian, whatever you need.
Have you done any acting?
No, I just do all talk shows. So I don't know how good that would go.
All right. Well, we can cast you as a talk show host.
All right, fine. That sounds like a deal. Speaking of cooking too, you do cooking classes. So I think tonight you're cooking, right?
Yeah, actually I do cooking with Colin. So every month I share and teach people how to make a healthy vegetarian meal. So I gave up eating meat about 1.5 years ago.
No hot dogs, nothing? Chicken?
Nope.
All plants?
I do eat fish. So I'm a pescatarian. So my family naturally has high cholesterol. And so I've just been trying to figure out how to reduce my cholesterol without having to take the statins, because my doctor said, here, take this pill. And I took, I think it was like Crestor or Lipitor for like a week, and I had horrible headaches and muscle cramps. And I was just like, this is like, I can't do this. Because, I run, I bike, and I was just like, I want to try to figure this out naturally. And I mean, growing up here in the Midwest, like hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecues, all that stuff. So I was like, at first I was like, I'm never going to be a vegetarian. I'm not going to, but what's great is with cooking with Colin, I share with people that there's a lot of great healthy alternatives to meat. And there's a really great documentary that I watched called Game Changers. And it's all about world-class athletes who are plant-based. And like the strongest man in the world is vegan. And
Tom Brady.
I think
he's pretty plant-based.
He's super healthy with his diet though.
Over healthy.
Super healthy. But it all comes down to like what it is what your goals are. And if like Tom Brady, his goal is to be the best athlete and to win Super Bowls. And if that means putting into his body the best types of food that will allow him to pursue his goal, then that is what he's going to do. But a lot of the times people don't necessarily have health goals. So they just eat whatever. And they just kind of, they wonder why, like, oh, why do I feel tired? Why do I feel moody? Why do I feel this? And when I gave up eating meat, I started to feel less sluggish. Started to less like crashes, less gassy. And it's easier for me to maintain my body weight. And, it's like occasionally once in a while, if I'm at dinner and a friend of mine is eating, an amazing filet mignon, I'll have a bite, So for me, it's like, I think life is all about, moderation and balance and just, trying to keep it, do your best, but you don't have to cut out everything.
Right. Actually, that COVID was one thing. I actually learned how to cook and I'm pretty good at it. And please tell me you have wine at least.
Oh yeah. Love wine.
Okay. All right. Please
so what
tell
do you
me
like
you
to
didn't stop
cook?
that too.
What do you like to cook?
I'm really good, sadly, at doing pasta dishes. That's like,
why is that
Italian.
sad? Pasta is amazing.
I know, but it helped. Like, it doesn't help. Like when you're a little older, you gain weight quicker. But I do really good spinach artichoke pasta.
Nice.
So I do that. I kind of learned how to everybody requests my chicken fajitas. Those are really good. They get rave reviews, and salmon. And I've gotten really good at making salads too. So awesome. I used to be out eating all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't see that it saves any money, but
the problem with eating out all the time too is that they just throw a ton of butter, a ton of salt in the food, and
you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, you don't know how fresh it is. So,
yeah. And then in COVID, the girls would kill me. How's dating going in COVID? If I don't ask.
A lot of virtual dates.
Yeah.
Wine dates virtually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brave. I won't do any. I'm too busy.
How come?
Because I'm it was funny. I bought myself a jacuzzi when this started because I'm like, where am I gonna go? So a lot of my posts are from the jacuzzi, and my aunt was like, if I have to see you in your tub with your boobs one more time. But I do updates from there sometimes. Just why not? Right.
Yeah.
But so I was doing some scrolling, like everybody's like, try Hinge and do this and that. And I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And I did it from like I said, I was in Nashville because the boys are cute there. And then I said that I was in Boston, not so cute here. But you keep seeing the same people. And to me, if they're trying to talk to you, I talk about this in a lot of shows and they're just like, hey, it's like, okay, you want me to start this conversation? And then sometimes I would just start it to see where it went. But no, they don't know how to communicate. That's one thing I know.
Have you ever written down what your ideal man is, who he is?
Oh, I know.
Have you written down what his value systems are and what he,
well, you're right. And I had this dating expert on. He was my first episode on helium.
Yeah. And
we went over it, and I was telling him how last year I kind of figured out that I kept dating the same person. They kind of all looked alike, same personality, just into themselves more than me. And I just never realized it until I was at my sister's wedding a couple years ago. And I had this guy who flew all the way from California to Vermont because that's where she got married. And all he did was bitch about his lost suitcase the whole entire wedding. And I was like, this is who I keep dating. This has got to stop. So, yeah.
So the difference between what we think we want and what we need.
Right.
Right. Because there's a difference between being attracted to what you think, oh, wow, he's attractive, but do you truly understand, what your needs are compared to what your wants are? Because there's a difference. And I've learned that the hard way too.
Oh my God,
she's so hot. Yeah. We're
you're so
and then
pretty.
after 3 months, I'm
there's nothing there.
I'm missing the intellectual stimulating conversation.
Exactly.
That is a need for me. So whenever before getting into a relationship, because, obviously things can move very quickly if you're attracted to someone and there's a lot of chemistry there. But I think it's important that, because men we just, if we're attracted to a woman, that's what we want. And I think it's important that women slow the roll and make us earn it. And
I agree.
Make us like really, truly make us get to know you so that we're not just with you because of physical reasons, that we really start to understand and know who you are on a deeper level. And then, because that's where true love actually starts to be cultivated from. And I think the reason why women get disappointed so often is because they allow a guy to get too close too soon. And they're like, well, he said this, and he said he loved me, and he said he wanted me to take me down this vacation. But men will say anything to get in your pants. And women, you've got to be smarter than that. You got to know that we will say whatever will get us. I mean, we're primal, we're hunters. That's what we are designed to do. And so you like, okay, all right. I know you say that you like want me to meet your parents, but slow down, dude. Like we just met. Like
I would be freaked out if somebody said that right away. I'd be like, I get like that. I'm like, yeah, you're getting too clingy. Ooh, gotta go.
You feel like guys come aggressively at you and want to like?
I get either one. I get really like shallow ones or ones that are like over the top. Like, I can't take you.
Yeah. And the ones that are just kind of like, it's almost like fishing. They'll throw the rod into the water and just kind of like leave it there. And like, they'll send a hey, see if you respond.
Hey,
like,
is she real?
Is it how easy, or like, is it going to be like, if it's too much work to like, cause some guys they're not looking for anything serious or a long-term relationship. They're just looking to hook up. So they'll just like, hey, what's up? What are you doing this weekend? Want to watch a movie? Like
you look like the guys
that are just like, I just want to hook up.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are, more serious are the ones that will ask you more in-depth questions about, your work and your family and, where you're from and what you do.
It's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Instead of what color panties are you wearing? Like,
I've had so many of those in my 30s. Many of those. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be like, oh, I'm bored already. Yeah. I can be a brat about dating, I guess. But anyway, so you've done it online. So you're doing virtual wine dates.
Yeah.
And how's that going?
I just, because I do like, I just, through my network, and my coaching and just from a lot of people that I know, I just am I like to meet people organically and naturally. I don't do any of the dating apps. I like to just meet people naturally. And if something clicks, then I'll be like, hey, do you want to do a wine date, Friday night? And what I'll do is I'll try to have us buy the same bottle of wine. So it's almost as if like we are actually there tasting the same thing and having the same experience.
That's a great idea, actually.
So,
I went on a big wine haul last night. Well, actually before work, I had run out. And I'm talking to the guy who runs the podcast. I'm like, hold on, I'm at Total Wine. They're putting it in my car. I'll be right back.
What kind of wine do you like? Are you
my favorite right now is Duckhorn Cab. Have you had that?
Duckhorn Cab.
Kind of expensive.
No, if I've no.
You're gonna have to try it.
I'll try it. Okay. Really good one that's not too expensive is The Prisoner. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Yeah, it's a blend of Cab, Merlot, and Cab Franc.
Ooh, it's like a blend. I like those.
Yeah, it's really good. It's only about like $40.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Duckhorn, well, it depends on where you go. You can get it like 55, some places at 70. I buy the little ones because then I don't waste it.
Got it.
Yeah. But I also have to ask about this new tattoo you have.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So I've wanted to get I've wanted to get this tattoo for a while.
That's a big one.
So I'm in the middle of getting it filled in, but it's a Japanese tiger.
Okay.
And
I see. Oh, okay. Now I see it.
So it's one of these things where I've wanted to get it for a while, but because of like, well, what if, if I book an acting job, then they're gonna have to sit there and cover it up with
Lots of pain.
makeup. And finally I was just like, yeah, screw it. I want to do it. So let's go for it.
I'm gonna have my own show, so it doesn't matter. You can have your tattoo.
Exactly. Do you have any tattoos?
That must have hurt though. I hate needles. It's the funniest thing that I have to give shots. Like that took me forever to have to do, but I could not do a tattoo. I'm too much of a wimp.
As a pharmacist, do you give injections?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of injections?
Well, the COVID ones, flu shots, every kind, Gardasil, hepatitis, everything.
Okay.
That they like to like push it to us, so then the doctor's offices don't do it. But I think the corporate makes a lot of money on it.
And what was it about pharmacy that you were like, yep, this is what I want to do?
I was really into medical, and I didn't like blood. Like I just had like needles and stuff. So I knew I couldn't be a doctor. So my dad left this newspaper article. I will never forget it on the thing. He goes, this pharmacy thing, I think you could do that and you'll have a good career and you'll make a lot of money. I said, okay, that sounds good. Let me do that. And I mean, it was hard. It was really hard because I went to UConn and I got recruited for tennis too. So it kind of worked out. The pharmacy school was there and then the tennis program. But by the time I became a junior, I was like, I'm not going to Wimbledon. So I'm going to have to, pursue this in a different way. So, because like they were having us take crazy courses like before applying into the school. I'm like, I can't balance biochem, organic chem, physics. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I still don't know how. I always say to people, I'm like, I don't know how I got through school because I was out partying all the time. So I don't know how I got through school.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. So, well, all right. Well, thank you for joining us today on Friday. I'm going to have to come cook with you and drink with you sometime.
Yeah, join us tonight. It's,
what time is it on tonight?
8:00 your time.
8:00 my time. Is it an Insta Live?
It's actually, so have you ever heard of a platform called Patreon?
Mm-mm.
So Patreon is a platform where people can join whatever events that you have. It's a place for people can see what you're doing and they can join whatever tier of what you have to offer. So I also do like vision board parties. I do, I do a talk show called Coffee with Colin on Monday nights live. So Monday night, having the actress Laura Lee Bell, who was on Young and the Restless, and she's done a bunch of Lifetime movies. I've had Topher Grace from That 70s Show, Sasha Alexander, who I worked with on Rizzoli Isles, different athletes and actresses, actors. And afterwards, I do a Coffee with Colin post show. So I have whoever wants to join that part of it, where we do a Q&A after the show. And then we do just throughout the week, just various different like Q&A events and things like tonight, Cooking with Colin.
That sounds fun. Are you going to have that prisoner wine there or what?
No, I'm part of a wine delivery club. So every month I get sent 6 new bottles from all over the world.
The Wink one?
I'm going to experiment. No, this one is, I forget the name of this one. First Leaf. That's what it's called. First Leaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have to try that. So where can everybody reach out to you if they want to join your Inspire or any of your master classes? Yeah,
you can go to colinegglesfield.com and you can go to my Instagram, which is at Colin Egglesfield. And if you click on my bio, I have a list of all the different things that I do and I have to offer. And so like with my book, essentially my Inspire course is based on my book. And the reason why I created the Inspire course was because when my book came out a year and a half ago, I went on my book tour to all these different Barnes and Nobles around the country. And I was meeting people and they were like, man, Colin, your book was so inspiring. It's helped me get through my health issues. And it's helped me understand what I call it your hell yeah, which is if you are about to make a decision and you ask yourself the question, is getting into this job or is starting to date this person, is it a hell yeah? And if it's not a hell yeah, it should be a hell no, because you're going to be wasting a lot of time and closing the doors to something that could possibly be your hell yeah. And for a lot of people, that can be a scary thing, committing to something that they're not sure about, even though it may be something that's super exciting and that they may feel, that is their calling or their dream. Right. And so after meeting some of these people and they hear my story of how I just came from, I was like some normal dude coming from like a small little town outside of Chicago, and how I made it to the biggest stages in the world in Hollywood. And I just say like, well, this is what I did. And this is how these are some of the limiting beliefs that I had to overcome. And then when I was diagnosed with cancer, this is how I got through it. And through that experience, people were like, well, how do I get more of this? Like, teach me, show me. So I put this Inspire course together to essentially unpack my book and to go into a deeper dive of each of the chapters. So in my bio, you can get the book, you can look and see what the Inspire course is all about. And then I also have a course called Camera Ready, which I put together because a lot of people who are going through Inspire, they're like, well, I want to do my own podcast, or I want to do, I want to grow my business. And because now with COVID, everything is going online, we have to do a lot more things virtually. So a lot of people are not comfortable in front of the camera. Even, I do some real estate as well. So I meet a lot of real estate agents who are like, they need to they have to have more online presence. So even like holding up their phone and speaking into the phone and saying, hi, my name is John Smith and I'm selling this house at 923 Main Street. And if you come over now, I will, so I teach how to be more confident in front of the camera. I talk about how like proper framing, proper lighting, all that kind of stuff, so that you can deliver the most impactful communication where you're not so inside your head and self-conscious about your communication. So you become more confident delivering, whether it's Zoom calls, webinars, speaking in person. So that's another course that I put together to share everything that I've learned on the stage and in front of the camera to people who may have never had experience doing something like that.
Well, it's really cool that you could turn like the book into this experience and everything like that.
Yeah.
Especially for those people. Yeah. I like that. That was a good way to show. I've seen commercials like that here in Boston and I'm like, how's that even on TV?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I also do some personal coaching as well. So I have
very busy
20 clients that I work with. And I've got a program called Entrepreneur Mojo. So anyone who's looking to start their own business, we have this dream incubator where if you have an idea, such as if you want to write your own book, we have our own publishing division now, Colin Egglesfield Media. So we help people. We're helping 2 people write their own books right now. And then we help them get it up onto Amazon. And then through my network and my talk show, we help market and promote people's books, because a big part of publishing is getting people to read the book. Because basically every day, 50,000 books are uploaded onto Amazon. So how do you get people to read your book? And
that's a good question.
A lot of it comes down to the marketing and the rollout of the program, and knowing things like, well, you should either release your book either in the spring or in the fall, and having a concerted marketing program for that release, which involves social media. So anyone who's interested in writing a book, they can reach out to me at info@colinegglesfield.com. I'm also helping a woman create her own online business. She makes these horse blankets. So,
really?
Yeah. So just through my connections, I also have a t-shirt company. So I understand the whole manufacturing, distribution, importing, exporting, sales, distribution, all that stuff. So, like I said, with Entrepreneur Mojo, we help people take their idea and turn it into a reality. So, I've got nothing going on.
You have nothing to do. I know you have nothing going on. That is helpful for people, because, like when I started like doing my business, when I originally had the app, like there's so much more to it than just, I'm going to just do this, or I'm going to publish a book. But like, there's so many questions and back, nothing's overnight.
Things like, what's your personal brand? What is your personal identity? Because that infuses all of your marketing assets, your communication. So there's a lot that goes into starting a business and turning a concept into an actual tangible delivery.
Yeah, it's so true. I've been there, so I know.
Yes.
All right. Well, stay after, but we're going to tune out. And thanks for joining us today. All the girls will love this. All right.
Thanks for having
guys
me.
for listening to Sessions with Sarah on Helium Radio. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Helium Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and should not be construed in any way as advice from Helium Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, and editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the express written consent of Helium Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.